You're muted, Lori.
I was on mute. I'm so sorry, Susanna.
It's okay.
Well, thank you everyone for being here. Now I'll start. Sorry for any confusion, everyone not being able to hear me. Okay, so welcome everyone to our LinkedIn Live today. I am so excited to be here with Susanna Don. We are going to be talking about using the power of authenticity to uplevel our life. So often we think about changing our lives and thinking about how we have to change ourselves to achieve whatever goal we have in mind. But Susanna and I can both attest that being even truer to who we are enables us to succeed at an even greater level. So I'm so excited to be doing this with Susanna. She is a best-selling author, just came out with a new book, and a reinvention maven. I'm so happy to be here with you. Susanna, introduce yourself briefly for us.
It's great being here with you, Lori. Yes, I'm the reinvention maven. I am focused on the importance of moving beyond boxes because all my life people told me who I was, what I'm supposed to do, and being placed in boxes when I know who I am. I know who I am down at my soul, yet everybody's trying to tell me I'm supposed to be something else. And I know so many other people resonate because once we're told that we have to be something that we know we're not, or we're afraid of aspects of ourselves, then we start hiding behind walls. And
So true.
we hide behind those walls. It's so hard to engage with people, to have meaningful conversations, to have relationships, and to get out of those boxes that have been holding us back all that time.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. I'm one of those people. Growing up with a perfectionistic, chauvinistic father and being a very naturally assertive woman, it would like who I was naturally was just never reinforced. And then a lot of the time, I felt like in corporate, I had to act more masculine to get ahead instead of being assertive like I naturally am, but also I, I don't know how to describe it. Just being more empathetic, I guess. For me, it's I feel like men and women naturally lead a little bit differently sometimes, and both men and women can lead effectively. For me, it was instinctive to lead more empathetically, and I just didn't see that from male counterparts in leadership. So, yeah, it seemed like I couldn't get to that place for a really long time where I could be who I was and who I wanted to be. So, um, once I realized I'm done working in marketing, I want to just be my authentic self. I want to be who I knew I was born to be, and that was being a coach and being a corporate trainer and transforming people's lives. Like that was just who I knew I've always been
Mm-hmm.
ever since I was young. So once I started owning that power, I felt so much more genuine to who I was. My mental health improved, my confidence improved, and now I get to help other women do those same things. So, being
Exactly.
who we are can transform every single aspect of our life.
It's so true on that because when we're when we're in that hiding and when we can't be ourselves, we're not open. It really reduces a lot of our abilities. Like I'm creative, but if I'm hiding myself, the creativity isn't there, and I end up working on projects that they don't ignite that passion.
Yeah, it like diminishes our ability to contribute, even if
Right.
like whether we're an individual contributor at an organization or an entrepreneur, whatever it might be, like if we can't be who we are, then our power and ability to give it diminishes greatly.
And that power, it's two different places, it's multiple places that will kind of sap us from it. I mean, there's those that stick us in the box, those who are telling us what we're supposed to do, and because of them, because of their authority figure or whatever it is about them, we pull ourselves back. We don't engage. There's times that we put ourselves in that box. It's imposter syndrome.
Mm.
It's walking down the street and you've got a non-regional accent and you're afraid to open your mouth because people will put you in a box once you say something.
Yeah,
Even as simple as a girl from the South, she's up north, she may not be as open if she's worried about how people are going to view her
yeah. When we get in our
because
heads, it's
we
so
get
hard to then just be who we are.
and the same goes with if you're neurodiverse and you're afraid to let people know, or if you've got a mental health, you overcame an addiction, you're LGBT, it doesn't matter. All these different things, you sit back and you go, okay, I'm afraid of what they might say or what they might do. You're in the office situation, you're working, and you're afraid to really open up to coworkers because of how they might treat you if they find out X. Um, and it's like something happened to us, or society says you can't be openly this way
Hmm.
because we don't want you that way. We want you to conform this way.
Right. You don't conform to a an idea that was formed about a particular person, this box that we're supposed to fit into, right?
Right.
Bias is there technically to keep us safe because what is familiar is safe to us. That's what our brain says. If we can define it and we can put it in a box, then it feels safe. And if it's not fitting in that box, then we have to challenge it. Whereas instead, if we're just curious, then we're able to be more inclusive and we're able to understand each other more and have everyone contribute as their authentic self. So when we recognize that, like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable because a person is acting a particular way, maybe we should ask ourselves, well, are they actually doing something that's destructive, or is it just different than what something I'm familiar with? That's something that can drastically change our relationships. For anyone here who's in the comments, feel free to pop any questions in you have for us or any thoughts. I love to highlight them here. Um, Here's one right here. Own it. How can you be wrong when you're being yourself? 100%. Thank you so much for your thought. And Mariella, boxes are created by others. Always draw lines, but be who you are and never care what others believe about you. Yeah. Like there is a certain level where we have to understand how others are perceiving us in order to make the impact we intend. But overall, we can't, there's a line where we have to stay true to our values, and crossing that disables our ability to contribute. So thanks so much for your thoughts. Everyone else, feel free to pop in any thoughts or questions. I love to be able to answer questions live. So let's talk a little bit about how we're kind of always in a constant state of reinvention. So if
Mhm.
we have a particular goal in mind, like say we want to start a business or we want a promotion or write a book, right? We have a goal. If we kind of keep in mind that, like, wait, I'm always in a state of change. Do I really have to make a lot of changes in order to achieve this goal?
Well, and doing that is not doing those changes isn't a doesn't always require a lot of stuff. What it really requires is you know you want to do something. So you've got that knowledge. But one of my sayings is, if knowing is half the battle, then awareness is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can know all kinds of stuff. It's like when I talk about the boxes, many times people know everybody in whatever that box is, whatever the label is, everybody in there is as diverse as the rest of the country. But unless they're going to be aware and accept that that's what it is, nothing changes. When we're stuck in that, yes, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. I know I want to write a book. I'm going to write a book. But the awareness hasn't been ignited yet.
Yeah.
Because you keep saying this. When the awareness is ignited, and I love using ignited versus sparked because it's much more impactful. Once it's ignited, then you can start to make that plan. And all you got to do is take the first step. And it doesn't matter. That first step has to be your size. It can be small, it can be big, it doesn't matter. A first step is a first step, because once you've taken the first step, you can take the second step. You may not have the whole picture of where you're going, but you'll know that you've started the journey. And for many people, they don't even start it. They're stuck in that box because fear is holding them back.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is saying, oh, you can't write the book. It's going to be too hard. Nobody will read it. All these different things. And another thing I like to say is, when we own our fear, fear no longer owns us.
Love that. That's such a powerful statement.
Exactly. Once you own it, then you've taken control. And yeah, it's going to fight. It's going to struggle. Yet you're the one that's now in control. And this pertains to so many different things. Let the fear go. And once you've cut the fear off, it becomes easier to move beyond the box so you can shine as your authentic self, as an author, as an educator because you went back to school, as a mother because you've taken the steps to be a mom, and whether you're working at home or you've had your child and you're going to the office, or you're hybrid, however it works, you've taken the steps, you've let the fear go, so it's not holding you back anymore.
Yeah. Let's talk about imposter syndrome, because I know this is something that comes up a lot for my clients and my audience, and something I experienced a lot. Like, I would have many panic attacks almost when I started owning my power and saying, yes, I can do this for clients. And I had already achieved results for clients before, but now I was in a place where I was saying, I'm running my own business. So I'm acting as a CEO. I'm acting as a person who is the sole owner of the result, for example. And naturally, for clients have to do their part when it comes to coaching. But it was just this different level of owning my power. And I started feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in trouble if I tell people that I can really achieve this for them. Or like, I'm lying to my clients saying that I can do this for them, even though I had already got other clients similar results.
Right.
So anyone who's listening, you are not alone if you ever feel scared that someone's going to find you out when you are making changes in your life. Because if we're to achieve a goal, we have to do some sort of change, which means we're not always going to be acting in a way that we did before. We have to get uncomfortable to make some sort of progress in life. And we know that we're making progress when we get uncomfortable, almost always. So what does that imposter syndrome look like from your perspective, Susanna? What have you seen with clients or with yourself?
When it comes to imposter syndrome, it's really some sort of a type of fear. We're afraid to do something. We're listening to the wrong voices, because even when we know we can do it, we have the proof we can do it. We start kind of falling back and still comparing ourselves to others. And comparison is one of the worst things we can do. It's that aspect of, you know what, you know you're good. You hear all the words, but again, that fear is holding you back, because fear doesn't listen to the positives. It finds that one negative and amplifies it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that fear really does to hold us back, hold us in that box so we can't move forward, is it weaves a translucent web of lies, yet it always, through that, has a grain of truth. So I always liken this box, like imposter syndrome. You're in this box, you manage to get to the walls, because there's always cracks in the walls, it's never solid. You look beyond, thinking, okay, I can do this because I know I can do this. People say I'm good at this. But then fear's lies come in, and that grain of truth is all you see. You don't see the translucent web of lies that's holding you back. You see the grain of truth, and that grain of truth is what scares you to stay in where it's safer in the dark.
Yeah. Or keep
And
you in your own box, right?
yeah, exactly, because imposter syndrome really is more of our own created box.
Like
And
we have our own internal bias about ourselves.
exactly.
Yeah.
We've got to, because of what other people said, or because of what we've experienced, and we just can't get over something from the past. We're stuck in that box. And again, one of the things that fear is probably using as truth is trying to show that everybody else who's at your level, they've got it together. You look at this guy, you look at that gal.
Yeah.
They've been here, they know what they're doing. But what fear can't, what it's basically hiding you from seeing, it's glossing over the big picture. You don't see the fact that this guy who looks like he's got it together, his marriage is falling apart. This
Mhm.
gal who looks like she's got it all together, she just got a medical diagnosis that's not positive,
Mhm.
but they're making it look like they've got it together. And they're probably looking at you going, damn, I wish I was as good as what she's doing,
Right.
because they
I
got the same turmoil.
Yeah, I'm part of a community of coaches, and we're all just kind of there to support each other and give each other advice. Part of my business coach, Adrienne Wemmer's group coaching program, and she just creates an amazing environment for everyone to collaborate and contribute and encourage each other. And just once you get into that type of environment where everyone's like trying to build something and
Mm-hmm.
transform their life, you see that like, oh, everyone's struggling just like me. So that imposter syndrome you're feeling when you're trying to grow and create some sort of change in your life, it's completely natural. It's not something that's like an exception just for people who are a minority, or
Yeah.
just for it's just a natural process of I'm doing something different than what I had been, and anyone can experience it. And it just means, okay, this is something I haven't done before. So naturally, I'm going to feel uncomfortable. Naturally, I'm going to feel like, well, maybe I haven't gotten a result yet, and but I know I can do it. I know I can do the research. I know I have the skills. I have the grit to make this happen. Just because you haven't done it before, you're going to feel uncomfortable. So know that if you do feel that way, it's a natural process. So don't feel like you're a unicorn who you're one of the few people who experience it, because a lot of people do.
Well, and you're fortunate in that you've got that group where you've got each other there. And
Yeah.
I've got a similar group. I've got basically my group of sisters. It's a very tight group of four of us. It's the kind of a group where we can be open with each other, and we know there's no judgment. We know there's nobody's going to be pointing at anybody and saying anything behind their back. It's like everything is up front. We celebrate each other. We support whoever needs it. And we're the eyes for each other, because when we're stuck in that box, we need somebody from the outside.
Yeah.
Too often we're so stuck. We know where we want to go. And the best picture I love of this, we know where we want to go. And in the movie Kong Skull Island, there's a scene in the middle of it where the main characters kind of walk into the middle of a big room. There's paintings on the wall, but until they get in the middle, when they're in the middle, they see this picture of King Kong. It's like, there's where you want to go, but you can't see the path. But if you move away from the center, you reposition yourself, come at it from a different direction, then all of a sudden that picture kind of becomes just a bunch of different paintings on the wall, and you realize that the obstacles are now speed bumps, or they're just easy to walk around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what the outside perspective gives us to help us let go of some of those fears.
Yeah. Having people in your world who, consistently every day are helping and supporting you in your goal of not just achieving whatever it is, but being your authentic self, people reinforcing like their love of your authentic self makes a huge difference in the level of progress you can make and how quickly you can make it. Once I had a tribe of people who were hell yes, Lori, to your authentic self, it made all the difference in the world. And
Exactly.
yes, Mariella, you learned the hard way, but accepted that people who ghost any attempt to communicate, they don't deserve a third or fourth chance. Absolutely. You have to honor your boundaries and surround yourself with people who respect your time and communicate in healthy ways. 100%.
Well, I see one of my sisters there, because Constance Leland, she's one of my core group. I can't imagine being where I'm at now without the support I've received. And that's, it can be hard to find that group, because really for these groups, you're opening up, you're letting your authentic self shine, even if it's just amongst that small group of people. They accept you for who you are, faults and all, and they're there to help you shine because you're there to help them shine.
Yeah.
It's a teamwork kind of approach. And for me, it's a sisterhood that is just, I can't imagine life without it.
Mm-hmm. Completely. Jennifer, Bill, oh, that was the answer to Jen's question. So Jennifer, how do you find and build that group? Any suggestions on how to approach this? Joining a program of similar women who are trying to achieve similar goals, or joining LinkedIn groups that have with people with similar backgrounds or people who have similar goals. For example, the title of the group might be Female Entrepreneurship or Moms in Business, something like that, or LGBT community of entrepreneurs, right? Whatever goal it is that you might be looking for, I bet that they are here on LinkedIn. And then just getting to know people on LinkedIn, utilizing the platform in that way. If someone's comment resonates with you, then reach out to them and say, hey, your comment really resonated with me. Like, let's get to know each other and see how we can support each other in our job search, or as people who are trying to build a business, or as parents. And depending on what support you need, different platforms may be of more help than others. There are also community like on-site locations where you might live, and looking up those types of groups. I know Lean In is really amazing. They have circles, basically support groups for women, and they're in almost every major US city. I bet you could look them up and attend some of their meetings. They do virtual and on site meetings, so they try to be as flexible as possible. So, those are just some options, and that's been really, really helpful for me having the support to feel like someone's constantly giving me permission to be who I am. And then naturally it helps me to internalize it so I can continue to be that way even when another person isn't there externally validating it.
And that's those comment conversations are, I found those to be the place of that everything starts. That's where you find you start, like you said, you resonate with their comments. Sometimes that's the place to start, is keep following that person, keep seeing what they're writing, and when it resonates, and as you develop these conversations, you're ready for the coffee chat.
Yeah.
And those coffee chats are so important as well, because it gives you that chance to see, is the person you connected with it through those comments the same person when you're seeing them in person.
Yeah. I also like to encourage people to have a really clear agenda for coffee chats, because typically they're just like get to know you conversations. But if you share a goal that you particularly have right now, and just ask ahead of time, I want to utilize my time and others' time and your time as efficiently as possible. So I'd love to know what it is that you'd like to achieve as a result of the conversation. Right now, these are my goals. Do you feel like that aligns with something you could support me in? Because I want to be able to support you in something as well, right? It's not just about you, right? You want to make sure you're supporting them as well. And depending on how much time you have, I know some people, depending on what stage they're at in their goal, it may make sense to do, just get to know you chats, whereas other times it needs to be really objective focused,
Mm-hmm.
or the person that you're meeting with there needs to be some sort of really clear agenda. So that's something
Right.
that I encourage in regards to getting to know your audience, getting to know other people on platforms like LinkedIn. And they can be something as simple as 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And like I said, just ask for the support that you need and be willing to give it. So that helps build a tribe for sure.
Exactly.
Well, we have about 2 minutes left. Thank you for everyone who attended today. This conversation went so fast. I know we had even more on our outline and agenda that we wanted to discuss. So maybe we can do another one of these in the future, Susanna,
I'd love to.
especially with your new book coming out. I feel like there's so much more we could talk about. Um, but before we part, I'd love, Susanna, for you to share what, if anything, you can offer your audience or anyone who's attending today. Um, I'm sure that people would love to hear about your book, or anything else that you want to share. As for me, I am offering free career strategy calls for anyone who's looking to up level their career or improve their communication. I offer public speaking coaching, one on one career coaching for internal advancement or job searching, and just helping people, like we talked about today, to be their confident, authentic selves. So, if anyone is of interest for a free 1 hour career strategy call, pop in the keyword career in the comments and I can send you a link to schedule with me. Susanna, what would you like to share?
Well, for me, it's right now. I've got 3 books out, and they're all collaboration books. The one that's really going to be the special one is the one that's going to come out next month, which is the first of my Armor of God series. Which, while it's a fantasy, it also focuses on moving beyond the boxes to be our authentic selves. This is an area that I speak on. So I'm a speaker for conferences, for organizations, especially with women, to help them ignite that awareness and realize that they can take the control back from wherever they've kind of let it go to, whether it's their fear, whether it's somebody else, take our control back and move beyond the boxes.
Mm. Love it. Well, thank you everyone who attended today. And thank you so much once again, Susanna, for doing this with me. It was such a pleasure. And this conversation was on fire. So absolutely loved it. And yes, thank you everyone else who attended. And feel free to reach out to either of us to find that support. And if you want any introductions to people in our network as well, we're happy to do that for you. I typically do LinkedIn Lives every other week now, so you will likely get another invitation from me. Follow me for tips on career advice and communication and public speaking skills. And follow Susanna for tips on being your authentic self and hear about her book and other opportunities coming up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lori.